Alright, now we're on action item number 7, run create login script that was generated on the source. So let's go ahead and run that script. I'm gonna go ahead and load the script. Here's our login script. Keep in mind, creating the logins, all the database users that right here, database users, right now, since the logins don't exist, some of the users up here that is already in the databases, they are orphan users since they are not attached to any login. Right here we have a G. Bailey, Tech Brothers George Bailey. This user exists in database, but it's not mapped to any login. When a user database, when there is a user in a database and it's not mapped to a login, it's called orphan user. So when we create these logins, it automatically gets synced, but we can also run a command to see that if there are orphan users after we create these logins. That's one thing I wanted to mention. Other thing I wanted to mention up here, if you see these database, this SQL Server logins right here, this will bring basically all the logins, but it will only create the logins on your destination server with public server role. So why I say that, but if you look at the script right here, all it's doing is creating a login right here. And usually the sysadmin, this user in our previous server right here, if I show you, let's go to the login. This user is not mapped to any user because any user databases, because it's sysadmin. If you look at the server role right here, is sysadmin. And if we go back to our script, all it's doing is creating the login. But all the server roles that if it's different server roles, this database user, you need to basically go ahead and turn on those server roles, assign those server roles to this login. But these logins up here, the Windows login, if they are attached, they are part of the user in user databases that we just restored, then it's going to be synced automatically. Again, I wanted to repeat that if there is any orphan user, we can check that later and can sync that. So these couple things, important things I wanted to mention, because sometimes what happened is that you brought sysadmin and you see if you have used that in replication, mirroring this up here the user, and it's a sysadmin and it had all the excuse me, it had all the access on the databases, and everything was running fine on our source server. But just because that this is not sysadmin anymore on our destination server, some things are going to fail if they are related to this login right here, this user. So other thing up here, these create login and policy and all that, they already exist. We don't need to create those. I'm going to go ahead and comment these out. And right here, so all we have is SQL Server logins and database Windows login right here. So we're ready to go ahead and run this script. This script ran successfully, so let's go ahead and check in our logins. If you notice right here, these are the logins right here: DB manager, demo, and distributor admin, and all that. All those users are logins are created right here. So let's go ahead and test what I said, that it's not gonna bring the server role. If there is a sysadmin role to attach to this login, it's not gonna bring that. So let's go ahead and first log in with this newly created login, DB manager. I do know the password. It should be able to basically go ahead and connect with SQL Server, but if you open any database right here, it's not going to open it because it was sysadmin on the previous server. All we need to do is basically go ahead and go in the logins on our destination server and double click on that login and provide it sysadmin. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so same thing with demo probably didn't have sysadmin, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is. So that is our login up here, number 7, create login script that was generated on the source. And next we're gonna go ahead and run linked server. script. So I'm going to go ahead and load that script. Here's our link server. Let's go through the script. Every time you run the script, please keep in mind that you need to go through the script, because the script might have our source server, and that source server doesn't exist. We need to go ahead and replace our source server with our destination server. So let's go ahead and run this script. I don't see any source server. All I see is our link server right here. One thing I mentioned previously in my previous videos, that whenever you create script and password for security reason is right here, is written, that is hashed out, and it will go ahead and create this link server. However, this link server will not be able to access all the databases that was defined in here that it can access, but we will go ahead and we have to go ahead and reset the password after we create that. You can also go ahead and put the password right here, or you can go ahead and in the link server objects, you can go ahead and basically reset the password. So let's go ahead and run this script. It says that this link server already exists. I might have done it in previous demo, so let's go ahead and check the server objects. Right here is link server. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. So let's run the script again. It's completed successfully. If you notice right here, it will not show all the databases. Right now it's just the system databases. The reason is that this password. So let's go ahead and reset the password. Go to security, and here is the SA password. I used SA for connection. So click OK, and let's go ahead and refresh this and see if it can see all the catalogs. And as you can see that it can see all the catalogs. So this is how you do the link server. Just again, I wanted to mention that if you load any script, you need to basically take a look on the script and see that if source server is mentioned somewhere, you need to replace that with this destination server. So let's go ahead and take a look on the next item. Alright, we're ready to run the server role, audit, trigger, resource governor. So all those scripts can be run now. Keep in mind we didn't have a server role in 2008. If you haven't defined explicitly a server role, that you're not going to have server role. In 2012 and 2014 you can create server roles, and we didn't have audit, but I did show you that you can go ahead and script that out. Trigger, we do have a trigger. Resource governor, I showed you that how to script that out. If you do have all these scripts, go ahead and run it now, and we're gonna go ahead and run it now here. So I'm gonna close this. Let's go open the file and see other scripts. The agent jobs will set it after we're completed with this step. Let's go ahead and do the login trigger right here. One thing I wanted to mention here, if you take a look on the script, it's inserting to a master dbo.login right here. This I forgot to bring this object. If it should be a part of the checklist, which I should have basically put it up here, that any object, system databases objects that you have, if they are there, that you need to script out and bring those to destination as well. Right here is my master. Right here is a login. That is my source server. So I forgot to take that to the destination. All you needed to do is right click and create and script. Once the script is created, you can take this script and run it on the destination server. I already have done that. Let me show you. So if you go to master database and table, you will see the audit login is created. Basically, if you don't have this master dbo.login audit, what will happen is that this will go ahead and create the trigger without any error, but as soon as somebody will delete or try to add a login, this script is going to, this trigger is going to get fired, and then it's going to give you error right here that it cannot find the object dbo.login audit. So let's go ahead and run this script and create our trigger. It says it already exists. I must have done it in previous demo. So let me go ahead and take a look on the trigger. It already exists, so let's go ahead and delete that and run the script. Alright, command completed successfully, and here is our trigger. So let's take a look on next item. Our next item is replication. Basically, if you have any DB mail script or operator or alert, you can go ahead and run it now. Keep in mind that this is very important. DB mail script, I have shown you that how you can take the screenshot or set it up. You need to set this up basically, and also you can go ahead and set the operator and alerts because they are related to your DB mail here. So keep in mind this is kind of important point. And data collection, we did not have any data collection, but I showed you that how you can script it out as well. So next, this is our biggest target right now, run replication up here. One thing I wanted to mention again, this is a complicated basically way to upgrade, and you need to that's why we have a checklist. You need to keep track of almost everything. That's why I'm mentioning some things that are important, and you may run into issues if you don't pay attention to that. Replication, when you script out replication, basically it creates its own jobs. You can just run the script after you fix the script to run it on destination server. It'll create its own jobs. You don't need to bring replication jobs. Last time what we did in our source server, we scripted out all the jobs, but basically if there are replication related jobs, you don't need to bring those with you. This script will create the jobs, but if you just wanted to bring the jobs and you just went ahead and scripted out publication and subscription, then you do need to bring those jobs. But if you scripted out the whole application, then you scripted out the jobs as well, and you will see that once we run the script, you will see those jobs gets created. So let's go ahead and work on our replication now. Let's load our replication script. Here is replication script. 3 or 4 things we need to do before we can run this script. First thing that we need to do is, this is our source server. This is not the server anymore. This needs to be replaced with this server and instance name. So easy way to do it is click on edit, find quick replace, and replace it with Dynamics AX Dev SQL 2012, which is this server, and we're gonna go ahead and replace all. So it replaced at 6 places. Other thing that you will see, that second important thing, that all the password, for security reasons, they are all null. So it will throw a lot of errors if you leave them to null. One thing that you can do is search for password, word password, and type the password of the user that you see. Well, I could go ahead and do that right now, and I'll go ahead and pause the video, and I'll try not to show the password again. But let me go ahead and see right here. Let's go ahead and take a look on that password, what I said. So our next entry is, see, it's adding job to the SQL Server agent right here. Add job password. If you have set up replication and you have used the job, you have used the SQL Server user that has the password, and you put the password up there, it's going to be null. So you need to replace this add job password with the actual password, and there are at least, I would say, 4 or 5 places where you need to do this. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video, and I'm gonna replace all with this null with the actual password, and then after that I'm going to go ahead and run this script. And before we do that, other thing that I wanted to mention, that if you do not have distribution database already on your server, if you never had any replication on your target server, I'm treating this server just brand new installation and I have not configured distributor on this server, then you will not see the distribution database. But this script will basically go ahead and create a distribution database. When it says add underscore distributor, it's basically enabling this server to be a distributor, and then after that it's going to go ahead and attach and create a distribution database right here, as you can see. If you have already distribution database, you don't need to run this command from here. You can go ahead and till here you can go ahead and basically just start from enabling replication databases. From here on you can run the script, as you can see right here. Just wanted to mention that. So let's go ahead and also look at the path of the distribution database. This came from our previous server right here, as you can see. This needs to be replaced with existing path of SQL Server. So this is our existing path, and we're going to replace wherever it is showing the previous path. And excuse me, right here. And there is a next entry right here for the log file. And another entry for replication data right here. So let's go back. Here's our replication data folder. So we're going to go ahead and copy this. You want to be really careful before you run this script, because it's not easy to get rid of faulty replication, and it takes a whole lot of time to fix replication if it goes haywire. So far everything looks good. Let's take a look on further that if there is any entry. Up here again, these are the users that has access to application replication right here. We don't want anti-authority, we don't want 2008 right here, so you can go ahead and comment that out. And let's check this one. Alright, everything else looks okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video, and wherever it's asking the password and password is null, I'm going to go ahead and put the password right there. I have replaced the password in here. I could have basically gone ahead and run this script and wherever it complained about the password and put that password later on, but I prefer to go ahead and do it in the script, because you can do it in just one execution. So let's go ahead and execute this script. Alright, so everything looks alright right here. Let's see if we gotten any error. it says server user Tech Brothers cluster admin is not a valid user in database this. Add the user account or guest user account into the database first. So let's go ahead and check that why it's not part of that. And it is going to be a new snapshot. And now let's go ahead and launch the replication monitor to see if everything is working okay. So far it's running. Let's take a look on the agent. Snapshot agent was never started, so we're going to go ahead and start the agent and refresh this. It's running. If there is any error, we'll take a look right here. Let's take a look while refresh it, and let's go and take a look on the jobs, whether it's created the jobs or not. As you can see, all the jobs got created right here. So some of the jobs are in between the tries. Let's take a look on the history, whether any of the job has failed yet. This job has failed. Let's take a look. Let's take a look on the security side of it. Right here, it's not, it used to be sysadmin cluster admin, but it's not sysadmin anymore, so we're going to go ahead and click OK. And now we're going to go ahead and start right here, reinitialize everything and see if everything gets successful. So let's go ahead and monitor. It's always a good idea to look at the agent status right here. Agent is starting. Log reader agent, no replication so far for log reader to do. So let's go ahead and monitor it. This was previous error. Right now it's running. It shouldn't really take that long to start the agent, so let's take a look on snapshot agent. It's still starting, and we'll go back to our jobs and see if all the jobs are okay. So we're gonna go ahead and look at the history of this job. This job was failed, so let's go ahead and restart this job, and after this it should be okay. And let's see that if this job gets successful. Okay, this job is success. And just so that you know, let's take a look on the job steps. What the job steps were: snapshot agent startup message, run the agent. Keep in mind that it was stuck on this, And the reason, because we had agent security set up as cluster admin, and cluster admin didn't have proper permission to do all what it needs to be done. So it should work fine from here on. So let's go ahead, go back to our replication, refresh it, and go look at view. As you can see, the snapshot of 6 articles were generated, so it worked fine. As you can see that 4 transactions with 140 commands were delivered, so it is working for us. Our replication is working.